Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Tammy Talks here. Let's talk Married at First Sight season 15 episode 11, Back to Our Future. If you're brand new to my channel, I do breakdowns on various TV shows, both scripted and reality, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every recap. So, if you enjoy that type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel, thumbsing up the video, and then hopping in the comment section so we can talk about everything that happened on last night's tonight. I'm tired. Everything that happened on tonight's episode of Married at First Sight San Diego. So, let's start with Ben and Morgan. So, I hope everybody paid attention with our good listening ears tonight when Ben said twice, "Yes, I lied to Morgan." Again, I hope everybody heard Ben say twice, both to the guys, then within the group, actually 3 times, then within the group, and then to Dr. Peppers, with an S, that he lied to Morgan. That does not excuse Morgan from her behavior last week during the 1 month anniversary. That does not excuse her. But I hope everybody heard Ben say he lied, because when I brought that up last week, I was called wrong and I ain't know nothing and everything else under everything else under the sun. So I hope everybody heard that, okay? Okay. So the episode starts off with the guys all hanging out, and it looked like they were in Stasha's apartment, and the ladies are all in Kristen's apartment. Yeah, it had to be Kristen's because the dog was there. In Kristen's apartment. So Ben is hanging out with the guys, and he tells the guys that the issue with their marriage is that he's been meeting up with Justin, but then lying to Morgan about it. He said that he felt like he had no one else to talk to. So that's who he felt like he could turn to. He said he wants to get through doing the 8 weeks and then make a decision. He said, but he's been breaking out. He hasn't been able to sleep the past, initially after that. He said he's lost 7 pounds, all these type of things. I want to say this, because I feel like we went back and forth in the comments way too much. It was good conversation, but I felt like people were like blatantly like ignoring things. So my point of view with this, and like I said last week, maybe it got misconstrued, maybe it was said too late in the video. I understand and agree, right, that Ben should be able to vent and talk to people. I get that. However, for people saying, well, he has no one else to talk to, the show encourages them to talk, the show wants them to talk, blah, blah, blah. Sure. But if the show was solely designed that they only talked to each other, they wouldn't have scenes with them talking to their friends and family. That is my entire point. So to say that Ben has nobody he can talk to is simply not true. It's simply, what's going on with my hair today? It is simply not true, okay? That's my point about it. My second point is, always has been, always will be, Morgan was specifically asking Ben not to talk to Justin about everything that went on in their marriage. Is it controlling? That's up to interpretation by who says it, right? By who's interpreting it. But if she is making this request to him, he seemingly agreed with it, then turned around, did it, talked to whoever she is saying, in this case Justin, talked to Justin, but then will come back and lie in her face about it, that is a problem. Let's not forget, even though Morgan did lie about having her bachelor's when she was 1 class away, that is not correct, okay? That's not okay to do. That is a lie. So yes, it originated with Morgan, okay? We got that solidified. Y'all are hearing me say it. It originated with Morgan. However, if she was vulnerable enough in that moment and she trusted Ben for him to go and tell somebody else, that's a problem. For her to then say, I would really appreciate you not going back to this particular person, and then you go back to that particular person, and then you lie about it, and then you try to act as if you don't understand why she's mad, that is a problem, y'all. That's a problem. So the girls, Morgan is talking to the other ladies, and she said that Ben broke her trust. When did Ben break her trust? When she told him something personal, and then he went and told somebody else. Okay, that was him breaking her trust. And I feel like it's like, because, and this is what happens on shows, because we have a very rash of reaction to Morgan. Like, nobody likes Morgan, right? Nobody does. But I think it's because I watch shows a little differently, because I review them. So she said that she hates lying, or she said that I'm sorry, y'all. Morgan is telling the girls that she met up with Alexis, and she felt that Ben was lying. She could feel that something was off. So she feels like he is just trying to save face with other people. So she moved out. They're separated. They have not been talking at all. She's taking issue with the fact that Ben has not reached out to her, as if she cannot reach out to him. And see, this is where Morgan always loses everybody, because you'll say this, but then you expect him to do all the work, and you want this man to grovel. You told this man just last week, on last week's episode, that you were going to make his life a living hell. Why would he call you? Why would he reach out to you? Why would he want to have any type of contact with you? We got to think, sweetheart. We got to think. Use the other part of your brain that is like not working on that last class for the BSM that contains the common sense. So they go and they kind of ambush the men's apartment where the guys are hanging out. And Morgan is saying that Ben broke her trust. She said that he keeps talking about how he hates lying. He's not going to tolerate lying. He doesn't like lying, when he's been lying to her face daily. So that's the hypocrisy in it. So she said that he could have told her he was venting to Justin and been honest about it, and she would have handled it differently and better. I think that's bullshit, Morgan. I don't think you would have handled it any differently or handled it any better. Because whether he told you himself that he was lying to you, or you found out the way that you just did that he was lying to you, you were always going to be completely and utterly awful about it. That's just real. So Ben then said that she said that he lacks accountability. Ben admits that. He admits to that. Again, I hope everybody heard that. Ben is admitting that he lacks accountability. He took no accountability in that scene. When everybody last week was saying he didn't do anything wrong, he did. He's acknowledging that. He did something wrong. Again, you have to look past your disdain for Morgan to see where Ben has some faults as well. So Nathan said that what's all the aggression? What's going on? We up in here chilling. Y'all came in on bug. Morgan said so Nate says that he feels like Ben needs to start voicing his opinion and being more firm with her. Morgan, he tells Morgan that, you always kind of seem mad, she's never going to be satisfied, whatever. The Hamilton Never Satisfied song came in my head. A lot was going on tonight. So Morgan says that she needed him on her side and he never was. Again, that goes back to her, while she did lie, she was vulnerable and told him about her lie, and instead of him being like, oh damn, keeping it under wraps and talking to her about that in a private setting, he went and ran his mouth to somebody else. So again, even though Morgan is god awful, she's utterly awful, Ben is not without foul. So Ben then admits that he was very naive when he came into this experience. He said that because he's not happy with himself, he doesn't know how he can be happy with somebody else. I said, come on, Ben, preach. Preach. So he thought that he could handle a strong personality. He could not. He thought that he would be able to handle somebody that was not of his culture. He cannot. He thought that he could take and hold all these things, and he simply he can't. He simply can't. Ben was not ready for this process. Morgan's crazy ass isn't either, but Ben was not ready for this process. So they meet with Dr. Pepper's, okay? Dr. Pepper comes over and she tells them, I've been watching, I've been hearing. I want to say something about this too. So a lot of people have been commenting, where are the experts? Where are the experts? The reason I don't mind the experts not coming in, because I thought about this. In real life, when you get married, there's not an expert that's going to come in because there are nanny cams and cameras around to tell you, Jane, the way that you talked to Joe the other day is not the proper way to handle this. You have to learn how to navigate your relationships and your marriage yourself. And even though, these experts put these people together, I think the way that they are doing it now, where they're not rushing in, at at every single fight and every single argument, because this argument right now does not involve an expert to step in any sooner than they are. You know what I mean? No one was in physical harm. People kept saying she was going to hit him. She wasn't going to hit that man. If she wanted to hit him, she would have done it already. But I think the way that they are letting the experts handle this, learn how to navigate through your own marriages. Because what ends up happening, and the reason that I think a lot of these couples get divorced, is because they have the experts on their back so much. Anytime they so much as like get into the smallest disagreement about chocolate chip versus oatmeal cookies, the experts are there. So then when the cameras are off and the show is over and they're on to the next city and you have another disagreement within your marriage, you don't know how to handle it. I think Dr. Pepper is coming in at the right time. I do. So Dr. Pepper tells them that she hopes that they can learn to show some compassion and care for each other. Ben said that he didn't think that he had expectations going into this marriage, and he did. And he was scared because he was scared to converse with her, so he went to talk to Justin. Dr. Pepper said that the real issue here is that Ben sees this world as more male dominant and just a woman in it. So, and I like that she called that out, because what are you scared of? And I know y'all are going to say because she yelled at him and all this other stuff. Initially, because we're going all the way back to the beginning, when she told Ben about not having to be a sin, which yes was a lie. I got to keep repeating it because someone's going to say that I missed it. When she went back and told Ben about that, instead of Ben coming back to her the next day and saying like, okay, so are you really a nurse? Like, what's going on? And having that conversation, because at that moment, she wasn't aggressive. She wasn't loud with him. They had a conversation. So instead of him going back to her in that moment, he chose to go seek out another male to talk to. On the cast at that. So Dr. Pepper said that he excluded her from the possibility of being in his world. And when you think about what Dr. Pepper is saying, is true. Ben, and I'm not pretending to know anything about Ben's culture, but Ben might have grown up in a household where, or in a family where like everything that the man said went. Where, they don't consult with their wives about anything. And I think that was what Ben was kind of doing. Let me go find another male to talk. I'm going to go find another man to talk to. It wasn't until he told Morgan that he went and told her business that she became belligerent and all this other shit that she got going on. So Morgan feels that she might not have been, or Morgan kind of feels that, I feel like I missed a note to write down. Morgan feels that she might not have been as open with him as she should have. But she opened up, she let him in. He betrayed her. She let him in again with a clean blank slate, and he did the same thing. So for her, is trust, and we keep hearing Morgan talk about trust and trust and trust and trust and trust, and how hard trust is for her. That's what she's stuck on. So Dr. Pepper wants them to think about how important trust is in a marriage, and I feel like Ben didn't respect her trust. At the end of the day, Morgan's behaving like an idiot, but Ben did not respect her. Even though they had this whole conversation about trust, Ben never respected that about her. So Dr. Pepper tells them, we want you to write a letter to your former self and then read it to each other, because that typically allows people to get a little more vulnerable. We learn some things about each other, about upbringing, all this type of stuff, and then it works out better. So later, Morgan comes walking in like the sumo wrestler that she is in, her previous life. And they sit down, and Ben is like smiling, and it's awkward. She's like not looking at him, not making any eye contact, anything, being a bitch. So it's awkward, and Ben was like, do you want to go first? And she was like, no, I want you to go first. So Ben reads this letter. It's about accepting himself, not looking for others' approval, living life for himself, not being so hard on himself, not trying to live so far by the book, and like just kind of enjoying his life. So after he reads that, he smiles and kind of looks at her for like a smile and not of approval, anything. This heifer says, I don't want to read my letter to you. So why did you come? She said she didn't want to read his letter to him because she doesn't know if he's going to go share her vulnerable moments with somebody else. Now, if she would have come in the door and said that, I'd have been like, word, because Ben has been going back and telling your business. But for you to come in, sit down, let that man read his letter, let him think that y'all are going to make some type of progress, and then you turn around and say, but fuck you, nigga, pay me. Girl, bye. Bye. So what needs to happen, what absolutely, totally, fruitily needs to happen is that Morgan needs to skip her ass on down and tell the production that she no longer wants to be in this marriage. And Ben needs to have some respect for himself to walk away from the marriage as well. Because what nobody wants to see is for the next 4 weeks, nobody wants to see her being a bitch after bitch after bitch after bitch every week, and Ben sitting there with big doe eyes looking like he's ready to cry when y'all can just go your separate ways. You are not going to trust this man. Leave him be. Ben, you need to grow up too. Because the fact that you heard something from your wife and you went to tell somebody else is complete, like, you're supposed to pillow talk with your wife, not about your wife. There's a difference. So let me know what you guys felt about tonight's episode, and I will catch you guys in the next one.